Well, good morning. I returning again. I'm Keisha, the NP student. Much more than that, but um, my journey that I want to deal with is on the course of me being an NP school and the struggles that actually come along with that. I briefly introduced myself the other day to kind of give you an idea of who I am and what I'm about and some of the things that I wanted to address and just kind of enlighten folks that may need some guidance on what's next. Uh, right now I'm currently we're out of school right now and we start back in a couple weeks or so. So I'll be back in clinicals. So I'm pretty much done with all the theory side of things. I'm doing the practical with some theory dealing with the the topics that we're on right now. I'm in family nurse practitioner, and I am in my adolescent and adult, which is my second to last semester of school. So I've come a long way. I'm on a I actually did a 3-year part-time program because working and being a full-time mom, you really have to, juggle your time and you want to balance out and you want to be wise. I mean, you're paying money into your future, your education. You want to invest, but you want to be wise in your investments. But anyway, hope you all are doing well this morning, today, period. I know that for me right now, I had an urgency the other morning. It was like maybe, no, I take it back. It was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on a contract right now while I'm out of school and I'm in corrections. So it's interesting because corrections there's still a need in healthcare, prison, jail setting, any correctional type of institution. It's really not all that bad like you probably think. They walk around with handcuffs on their hands and their feet all the time. No, they don't. That's their home. I mean, they've been convicted. They're serving their time. So this is now where they're going to dwell until their time is served. So the big thing about that is that I find that corrections, out of the 20 somewhat years of being in healthcare, it's for me, it feels like the safest place I could be as a nurse, especially in the current times we're in. There's always, you always have an officer or someone in the presence of when you're dealing with those inmates. So you're never by yourself. But anyway, off the rabbit trail I go. I wanted to come on today because, like I said, the other morning I was at work and I was pondering on some things, and I've been going through a lot of changes. And when I say changes, like in the last month, we can say now a month now, I had to get a new vehicle. And being in school, you want to, not get any high purchase, anything, investments. And a car is something you need to get around for me and my kids and doing my clinicals. But anyway, and I wound up changing up my job for a little bit. And that was some other things along with why I did that. And also now I'm trying to battle with trying to actually start dating again. And that could be a struggle with juggling school, work, kids. You have to balance your time. Everything is a balance. So even if you're married, you still have to figure out how to balance your time. But I'm not married. But anyway, I had a situation where recently where I was dealing with this guy. We pretty much stopped talking like in the summer months, and we re-engaged with each other, I think like in the fall months of this last year. And a series of things went on with me, and I didn't realize what was going on with that relationship and how it was becoming to where it is right now. But anyway, I was sitting at work and I realized that I was grieving. I was going through grief. And so I was like, well, my son, I had a son that died a couple years ago, tragically, gun violence, wrong place, wrong time. And he was 18. So imagine being a mom and having an 18-year-old killed while I was actually working in corrections at night. And that's why I'm working now at night. So I feel like now I'm getting back to Keisha again. I'm back to myself. Of course, with therapy, medications, a lot of that has played into prayer, family support. All that has helped factor in to where I am right now. But anyway, I was sitting at the desk and it came across my mind that this past few months I had been battling with this relationship and how things went with me and this particular guy. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I said, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I'm not myself, but I'm myself. Like, I feel like I'm getting back to Keisha, the vivacious person that's always helping, willing to guide folks and make sure people are good. And all of a sudden I realized something. Oh my God, I grieved this relationship. Oh my God, I really grieved this relationship. And so I literally got online and I started, and being in healthcare, we go over the stages of grieving and they're never in the same order. They can repeat themselves multiple times. However, I went into to really just understand like what actually each step of grieving was, because even with the death of my kid, which I'm sure I'll grieve him for the rest of my life because that was my baby, my only son, and as I call him, my little husband. And I just had to really think about like I went through the early stages, excuse me, of grief with my son, and I had to go through grief counseling, and I'm still in therapy now, but it's just to also help me with other things that I battle with in life. And so I said, okay, let me look up what grieving actually means, like the 5 steps. And so I'm online, I'm Googling, and then so I found out there's 8 steps and 5 steps. But anyway, the way you're taught in healthcare is that there are 5 steps: the denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and then of course the acceptance. But then when I started reading there's 8 more steps, 3 more additional steps to that: the shock, the testing, and then the F it all stage. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that grief could grow into so many different facets. But anyway, so I started going through it and I was like, okay, well, let me look at grief and to make sure I understand, is this really what I'm dealing with this current situation? Because grieving can last for a lifetime. And when you love someone and they leave you abruptly when you didn't have a chance to say goodbye, it does something to you. And so I went in and I was reading it and I said, oh my God, okay, so denial, no, this can't be happening. Why is this happening to me? Like, wait, you sure? You sure this is happening to me? Because when my baby passed, it took me to sit down in the funeral home and actually see a picture of my kid, because I really wasn't ready to see my kid because I didn't believe it was him. Number one, I was told some things about how his death had occurred, and it was all false information. But anyway, they took a picture of him. They gave me a soft, they call it a soft view, and I was able to see my kid, and I was like, wow. And it still didn't hit me that this was my kid. And so I was like, no, this can't be happening. So, then the anger came. I hated everybody that had come to pick him up and take him where he was. And one of the moms told me that one of the little boys that was with him said that he didn't even really want to go. And so now I'm angry at this kid. It's a kid. I mean, it's a 17-year-old kid at the time. And so I was like, you know what? I did what I needed to do as a parent. I made sure my kid was safe. He was home when I left him, and now he's gone because he went with you. My kid had free will and choices. He was 18. He wasn't a baby. And so then, after, putting him to rest and burying him, I had the depression. It came. And so I'm like, I don't even know why I need to be around. Like, I need to just be. And I'm not saying like take my life or anything like that. I mean, I just didn't have a need to get up and go and do. And then also with that, I suffered with anxiety. My kid was a part of gun violence. So when you're dealing with gun violence, it's just one of those things that anytime I would hear loud noise, outbursts, and anything like that, I would have a panic attack. I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out something. So I wound up in grief counseling, and I did that probably up until March of the next year. Excuse me. And so, and I don't know if I ever really got to a point where I could bargain, because bargaining, I believe, going through the stages of death and dying, is when you actually have an idea that this person is going to leave you. I didn't have an idea. So I never bargained. I couldn't say, Lord, why me? Take me. If you do this, if I do this, then you can do this and save my kid. I didn't have that opportunity because I didn't even know my kid was really gone until I got a phone call. But acceptance, for me, the last stage that they give for death and dying, it took me to actually see my kid the day before we actually had his funeral in his coffin. And I still was like, you sure that's my kid? And then a few months later, his sister had found this picture, and it actually looked like him on a side profile. And I was like, wow, that was my kid. So imagine he was buried and gone, and I'm still wondering, no, that wasn't my kid. And I knew it was my kid because he had little birthmarks in his face and the scars and stuff. So I knew it was my kid. But anyway, to backtrack a little bit, I had gotten accepted into school April of the year that my baby died. Like, he died in May. So I got my acceptance letter in April of that year. And he was so excited, like, Mama, you're going to be a nurse practitioner. You're going to be able to take care of me. I won't have to worry about anything. You can write my prescriptions and blah, blah, blah. You know how kids are. And, he was so excited because, my little husband was like, I need my mama to be happy and I need my mama to be okay. And he's like, Mama, that's going to be good. You good at, what you do. You're a good nurse. You're going to be able to help a lot of people. It's my kid, to hear my kid say that, he don't really see me in my element. And I do teach CPR and ACLS. So he would come with me to my classes and just kind of be there, help me with my equipment and stuff like that. When he was younger, when I had first started out, and he would help me load my truck and, whatever. But anyway, when I buried my kid, school was starting literally like 2 months from there. So, buried him in May. 2-3 months later, I'm ready to start transitioning into going to school. And so my grief therapist at the time, a counselor, she was like, I think you should go to school. I think you should consider continue on your journey to go to school. It will keep you busy. It will keep you occupied. Your brain needs your mind needs something to do. And she said, I believe that this will keep you in a place of feeling like a sense of awareness of being needed. You're a healthcare provider. It's not something that just goes to sleep. So I was like, okay. So I went through grief and months later, and I started working again because I was out of work probably like 4 or 5 months. Like I just couldn't see myself taking care of anybody. I wouldn't want to be out the house past 5 o'clock. I really had PTSD and that's what I was diagnosed with, post-traumatic stress syndrome related to trauma. And so along with anxiety and depression, that was one of the big things. And I'll go into that, elaborate a little bit more later, maybe sometime down the line. But anyway, I started school, and my best friend Claudia, she was like, "Friend, you make NP school look so easy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, until I started clinicals in January of last year, I didn't realize how much was required of me. I literally had a job that I went to, sat in the car, parked, looked at the building, put the car back in drive, and drove off. Like I mentally I hadn't even started school yet, and mentally I was not able to even handle the process of going to this job. Like I was like, I can't handle the stress of this job. And you know, in healthcare, we already battle with the extras that come with taking care of patients. So I really was like, wait a minute, this don't feel right. And I think sitting home for the 4 or 5 months after my kid passed, I was able to understand who I was and what limitations I needed to apply to my life. And if something didn't feel right, don't do it. And if it feels great, do it. And just go through life knowing that you have choices. I mean, so anyway, I went to my orientation, and I found out what I was actually about to deal with. Well, about a week into, not even a week, maybe 3 days into going to clinicals, and this is a week after I had left this job, and I'm now on a medical leave from this job. I walked into a mental health clinic. Because by this time, I'm not doing counseling anymore. I'm not in therapy anymore. I walked into a mental health clinic, and I was like, I need help. I need help. And so I was able to meet with a social worker that morning, and she was able to, I'm bawling my eyes out and I'm crying, and she's like, oh my God. And so she's like, well, we're going to get you signed in, and they'll call you for an appointment, to see a psychiatrist. Well, just so happened that particular day there was a cancellation, and I was able to get on meds that same day. I was able to get evaluated and get on meds that same day. And the receptionist was like, that never happens to anybody. And I looked at her and I said, ma'am, God knows exactly what I need right now. Y'all, I felt like I was having a mental breakdown. And I didn't deny that. Like, I really was battling mentally. And I was on Adderall. I mean, Adderall was just to help me focus, but it was not helping my panic attacks. It was not helping me with the depression, going to dark places in my thoughts. It did not help until I got on meds. Well, fast forward, I was dating someone, and it was a battle with that relationship because I'm trying to balance. But I'm still trying to balance my thoughts. I'm trying to balance school. This new thing I'm doing, clinicals. Like, I'm seeing patients. Seeing patients is totally different than seeing patients at a bedside. You're now the person that's going to dictate what's going to cure whatever the person is dealing with. What type of therapy or treatment is going to be, what's the diagnosis for this patient? You're going to be the person that actually makes that call. Like, do I send this patient out? Do I put them on meds? What do I need to do to make sure this patient is good? So, but anyway, I battled with that, and months went down the line, and by the time the semester had been over, the end of the semester, like, it was now I have free time. Like, I can get out and I can start living again, because once you're in school, you really don't have a social life. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. You don't have time to be lollygagging and going to the baby showers and going to the weddings and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna say that I didn't do anything, because I did. I would go maybe for a couple hours or so, and I'm gonna tell you, sometimes just getting out the house and going around family and friends and doing something different, getting out of your environment, your element, it actually brought a balance, and it actually cleared my mind. But anyway, the guy I was dealing with, he was like, let's get out the house, let's go do something. And I was like, okay. And even my best friend was like, you gonna go celebrate, you finish the semester? And I was like, okay. And y'all, I would be like planning it, and then when the day would come, I'd be like, nah, I'm good, I don't want to go. what was that? Was what I was like, wait, what's wrong with you? Like, you have, you're viable, you're healthy, you finished school, you did a lot. I had to go to therapy even deeper. And my therapist literally had to will me back to understanding. Okay, what are we doing now? What do we need to work on? I was like, okay, I need to learn how to socialize again. I've been in the house for 2 years. We had COVID. And then after COVID, the year later, my kid dies. So I'm literally away from people. Then grief happens. I'm away from people. And then I start school. And so now I can't really get out and be around people because I'm in school. So it really pulled me out of being sociable. I mean, I was a social butterfly. I'm going out. I'm going to events. I like to go dancing, listen to live music and be around my friends and stuff like that. And I really didn't feel comfortable going anywhere, especially when it was late. And so I had to work on it. And then I'm working on getting out the house. And my therapist had to, I mean, it was small steps, but I would jump in. I would just jump feet first, like whatever it is. I'm going to either go hard or go home. And so then it was like, okay, now I want to start dating. Now, what do I need to do to start dating? Because I need to, I mean, I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to do this journey by myself. And so I was like, what do I need to do? And he's like, well, gave me ideas, do apps and stuff like that. And I was like, look, I'm old fashioned. I like to meet people like at the gas station, church, the grocery store kind of stuff. Just I like to meet the person. And, everybody has their preference. But I was like, I get it. And so the guy I was dealing with, we kind of just were on and off, on and off. And then eventually we just kind of nothing. And then so school started again the fall. And my birthday came around and I was like, okay, and then we started, I'm thinking this person is still in my life and we really weren't together. And so then I thought about, what's that mean? Not facing the reality of what was going on around me. It was just a whole lot of different things. But anyway, so months passed and this past semester of school, I wound up having to drop a class. And that was difficult because I had to learn to understand that everything can be fixed. Everything is fixable. I couldn't fix my kid dying. I can't change that. But I can take this class over. So I can move forward. I can move forward in life. I can do things that I can fix that. That's something I can change. I can take this class over. I would rather take a class over than barely pass and not be able to take care of my patient because I kind of know the drugs, or I kind of know the diagnoses. I kind of know the symptoms, and I know pathophysiology and anatomy physiology. Yeah. But when you're getting into being a prescriber, it's different. You need to know how to move. You need to know, if you're dealing with family, from how to take care of a baby to how to take care of an elderly person. You need to know what drugs are safe or what's contraindicated, and just those different factors. And this semester I battled mentally. I had some stuff going on with my parents and whatnot, and so nothing stuck. it didn't stick, y'all. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. By the third exam, I didn't do the grades that I needed to do, and so on my last exam I would have to make this really high A, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna drop the class. I'm okay with that. But in the process of that, the guy I was telling y'all about earlier, he kind of came back into my life, but it was a different circumstance. He was now dating someone, but I was like, yeah, whatever. He ain't dating nobody. He lying. Like I was in denial. Like I didn't even realize I'm starting the stages of grief. And so he's like, no, I'm dating someone. Things were not working out with us. I moved on. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I hear you, but I don't hear you. And so we battled back and forth, and then I was like, look, let's just call it even, and we'll just not deal with each other, and it'll be fine. But when you care about someone, when you feel like you have love for that person or you love that person, it's hard to just walk away. And being familiar with someone. I mean, I'm dealing with grief, death, dying. I'm getting back into moving around, and this is the person that was around after everything was said and done. Like, this is the person that I wound up dealing with. And now we're not. So here's another change. And so I had an outburst with him. Like one morning I went to his house. Like listen, I was not myself. I ain't crazy. I ain't loving between thin line and love and hate kind of person. I really just easy, lucky, go, happy person. I encourage, move forward. I don't hold on to grudges. I deal with things accordingly, and I learn from them, and I keep moving forward. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because guess what? I'm surely not. But I went to this man's house at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and just like I wanted to tell him what I wanted to tell him, like what was on my heart. And I looked at him, and all I saw was red. Y'all, I told him I couldn't stand him. I hated him. I wish I never met him. Like this person that I am not. And we talked a little afterwards. It was around the holidays, and he was like, I've never seen you in that mindset. And I was like, but I'm not that person. Like I've never been that person in any relationship. Like I learned, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you, move forward. You know, we have our heartaches, we have our heartbreaks, we have our moments where we like, no, I want to be with this person, but this is not what this person wants, and we got to be okay with that. But I literally was like, I hate you. I wish I never met you. Didn't mean any of that, y'all. I'm a Christian. I love everybody. I mean, I like people, but I love everybody. Because you're going to meet people, you're going to be like, I really don't care for them. But you got to learn to love everybody, because nobody's perfect. Everybody is flawed. We all flawed, y'all. And so after all that was said and done, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. And then I went into a state of depression. Now, I'm not saying it was just solely based off of that. I had things going on with my mom, and I stopped eating. I stopped eating for like 3-4 days, y'all. I did not want to eat. I had no appetite. And I'm like, why even bother? And then I didn't want to eat. Like I didn't have a taste for nothing. And then when I started eating again, it was, it was just that thing. And then I had a coworker. I have a coworker, my work bestie, Walter, and when I tell you, he's like the person everybody want to work with. he's like the best person to work with. And he came in and he saw me all gloomy, and he was like, oh no, I don't know what that is, but she needs to go. And so, moving around and still grieving, I didn't realize I was grieving at the point. And so the depression went, I started eating again, and then I started bargaining. And I was like, well, maybe if I do this or change this or whatever, it really will be different, and we can see if our relationship can change, or we can get back together, or try to work out and be in a relationship and whatnot. And but it didn't happen. And then I had some other things transpire. Like when I got the car, I got a new car, and then I was like, okay. Then I got a new job. It's like all in 1 week. And I was like, okay. And then I got a new phone number. Like, y'all, I've been having my phone number since probably 2007. Like, I ain't want to be just making all these changes. And so I was like, okay. And so now I'm off social media. And then I go into social media, and then I see this man with his new girlfriend. And of course, I'm not jealous of anything that they have going on currently. But then I was like, wait a minute. Has he been dealing with this chick? Because they look too chummy for me. And it's like everything at that time came in, and I went, literally, no, anger, battling, bargaining, acceptance. On that particular day, I literally had my best friend and my daughter sit me down. I mean, not really sit me down, but be like, look, friend, mama, life you have to move forward with life. Everything is about change. It is what it is. Some things you can do all this and it's still not change anything. And you just need to learn to be okay with not being okay. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I get on the phone, I called this man, and this time I was like, you need to come see me. And he's like, no, I'm not coming to see you. And so now I'm battling still with all this other stuff I got going on. I've dropped this class. My mom still has health stuff going on, and now this. And I was like, you know what? I bared all and told all, and I was like, you know what? I just want the best for you. I want you to be happy. Y'all, I started accepting in that moment. And it took all of this week for me to realize I grieved this relationship. Oh my God. Y'all, have you ever felt like you lose something or a person, and you're like, you're trying to figure out, like, what can I do to change it? Nah, this can't really be happening. And you get angry, you get in denial, then you go into depression, and then eventually you accept it and you move forward. That usually takes some people months, years. And like I said, with my kid dying, I grieve my baby in a different way now. Like at first my grief was depression, and sometimes I still cry, and sometimes they're not sad cries. They're happy tears. Like, I can't believe, my kid would say stuff, and like my kid was just this funny kid. Like he would say stuff and he would make it stick, and you till this day we still say stuff that he said. And I learned that in the process of my kid dying, that sometimes as a single parent, we don't grieve. Did you hear what I said? We don't grieve. Something bad happens, we swallow it, we keep moving. We don't even deal with it because we ain't got time. We gotta have to keep moving, because you're responsible for these little people that you got to take care of. You have these responsibilities as a grown up, and you don't have time to sit down and waddle in nothing. So when my kid died, I told myself, I will no longer wear this S on my chest. No longer. Y'all, I threw that S in the chest, on the S on the chest. I threw it in the coffin with my kid. I'm done. I'm done being the strong person that you think I am. I'm done being this person that you think is perfect. I'm done being the person that, oh yeah, she'll be okay. No. When I'm sad, I'm going to tell you I'm sad. When I'm happy, you're going to know I'm happy, because I'm going to say it. If I'm not happy with something, I'm going to tell you I don't like something. Whatever it is, I deal with my emotions right where I'm at. And so I started thinking about that the other morning, and I was like, with this relationship, I actually moved through the 5 stages of grief so fast within like a matter of like a couple of months. And it's because I gave myself that ability to actually get over something, or should I say a person. And now I feel like if we would consider being friends or whatever outside of him or me having a relationship with anybody else, we would be okay, because I'm at a place where I have peace, y'all. It is what it is. We either gonna be or we ain't gonna be. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. So my big takeaway from grieving was that, you have to go through the stages, but here's the big thing. When you start to heal, y'all, it's amazing. Like, you have this peace that comes, and you don't have to wear an S on your chest, because the healing is beginning. You're accepting the changes. You're accepting the flaws. You're accepting the failures. Yeah, you're still gonna get angry, but the Bible says be angry, but don't sin. So I know that I could be angry, but I ain't go out there busting people windows out. Cut no tires. I ain't slashed nobody neck. That kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. It's a part. If you weren't supposed to have emotions, then we wouldn't have been given emotions. Okay. And so I got to the place where I realized I ain't gotta fake nothing, y'all. That S on the chest came with faking it till you make it. And yeah, you hear people say, believe by faith that you have this and do that. Y'all, you're human. You are human. You will have those thoughts in your mind. You'll have doubts in your mind. You'll second guess yourself. But that's why you have your support system. You need your people that are your safe place. You need those people that you can lean on. Those people that will guide you. They will say, nope, nah, that's not good for you. They on the outside looking in. They love you. They will protect your peace because they love you. They want to see you have greatness. They really love you. They really want to see the best for you. So when you have your safe place and your safe place and your safe people, you know that when you go to those people, you don't have to fake. You could be right where you at. So that fake it till you make it. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, yeah, nah, I ain't really. Y'all, I'm human. But guess what? I told myself, I was like, Lord, you know what? School starting up again. Check. I'm ready. I'm still working. Check. I already know. Balance that out. I still have my kids. Check. Balance that out. Here come the relationship part. Oh God. What am I gonna do? And so I really just prayed a prayer. I was like, Lord, whatever you desire for me, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I'm gonna believe. But I believe right now, where I am in my life, all of a sudden, I'll meet my husband. All of a sudden, I'll be married. So I'm saying this to you guys today, and this will be on a recording, that when I say all of a sudden I'll meet my husband, all of a sudden I'll be married, when I come back to this video, I can say 3 months from now, or 3 months ago, perhaps, y'all, I met my husband. Because I said it, and I believe that by faith, all of a sudden, I would be married. All of a sudden, I would meet my husband and be with him. I was like, okay. But y'all, back to grieving. You know, some things are necessary for you to grieve. You have to learn to move forward and transition into the change. Like you cannot stay in that place. Like, you have to make sure that you understand, if you lose something or someone, you need to understand that you need to know that this is not the end. You can move forward. You can do other things. Another thing is that death and dying is one thing, but when you're dealing with like loss of a job or a relationship, you have to understand, you got to look at yourself, like reevaluate some things, make sure you're handling whatever happened healthy, in a healthy fashion. And that means you may need to understand that if you see this, whatever this that you went through, in a person or in a situation, you need to know, oh, hold on, this look familiar. I'm going to exit left. I'm going to be like SpongeBob, y'all. I'm out. You know, because, baby, let me tell you, peace is peace. And when you lose your peace, you're no good for nothing and no one. You don't sleep. You don't eat. You overeat. You don't eat. You just don't do what you're supposed to do in a healthy fashion. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that having your support system, you know, y'all, having a safe place and safe people, you need people for your life. God gives people for your life. Every season of your life, you've had a person. I don't care if that person was somebody that was temporary or that person was somebody that you had that been in your life forever. But everybody needs a person. You need that person that's going to be transparent with you no matter what. They'll tell you the good, bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. They'll love you no differently from making the mistake or not making the mistake or not doing anything. They'll love you right where you're at. You need a person like that, or persons. And I'm going to tell you, I have my family and my friends. Y'all, I am so blessed. I'm so fortunate that I have those people in my life. So going through school and all these changes, my kid dying, anything that I've been through in these last few years, they've been there for me. They guide me. They tell me, nah, I don't think that's good for you. They outside looking in, they can tell me, yeah, that look good, but nah, it sound good, nah, don't do that. And so, you know, I understood that they're outside, you know, and here's the big thing with that, y'all, you got to be transparent. You can't go to them people with that fake it till you make it idea in fashion. Yeah, she gonna get just this little bit of information, but I'm gonna do this. No, y'all. If you really want the help, you gotta be honest. with yourself and with the person that you're talking to, so they can actually help you with the situation. Because if you don't want the help, then why talk about it? Keep it to yourself. But needless to say, when you feel like you can move forward, it's like, man, you accept that, like I said, some things are fixable, some things are not. But when you deal with things in a healthy fashion, you literally can walk away and be like, I guess not this one. Next. You move forward, and it doesn't delay you don't get stuck because you've been transparent. You talk to people about it. You trust your instincts because what you dealt with before, you dealt with it on a healthy level this time. So now you know, yeah, I'm going to accept what this is, and I'm going to keep moving. Like my friend tells me, keep moving, move scared, friend. Keep moving scared. Because moving scared means that you're trying to do something. You're not just getting stuck and getting complacent. You're just accepting what it is and be like, I'm not going to do nothing because I'm scared. No. Move scared. Move. Take the chance. Going to school, taking a chance. 40-something years old with 4 kids, taking a chance. Working, single parent, taking a chance. Moving scared. I have not stopped moving scared. I'm moving, but I'm moving scared. And y'all, once you realize some things about yourself, anything that looks tainted, that looks like that familiar thing that caused you to lose your peace, oh, I promise you're going to move from it real quick. You're not going to want no parts of it. I don't care if you're 25, if you're 85. If you see anything that you know going to steal your peace, whether it be a person, place, or thing, you're going to say, oh, well, you know what? This ain't what I'm about to do. I've healed from this. And I'd be doggone if I'm going to go backwards because, oh, he cute. Oh, she pretty. Oh, they paying $100 an hour. Peace first, y'all. Peace is priceless. You can't buy that nowhere. There's no price mark you can put on peace. Know that if something don't feel right, it probably ain't. Because, baby, sure, when I tell you, people will use you up and drop you right where you're at. And I'm going to tell you that because when mama was having her, getting ready for surgery, and people were just calling and they were demanding this, that, and that, I said, listen here. What you not going to do is let these people steal your peace. Like I said, because let me tell you something. People will use you because that's what they need right now. And they don't care what you got going on. They're heartless. We're in healthcare. We shouldn't be heartless. We should be on the ability to understand, step back, give people a second. Whatever it is, it's not going to cause the earth to end tomorrow. You can wait 2 more minutes. You can wait a day. I promise you. Okay? But one of the big things, y'all, that I really wanted to make sure I hone in on with grief in all the 5 stages, counseling. You may need to go sit down and talk to somebody on the couch. Your support system may not be enough. If you're you read your Bible, go to church, that may not be enough. You may need to go sit down and have someone actually evaluate you to be put on meds. I'm not condoning that medicines are the way to do things, but people walk around and they have chemical imbalances. You're in healthcare. If you're watching this, you know that we have people that have schizophrenia, bipolar, they have depression, they have anxiety, they have whatever. They're on meds. And if they don't take their meds, we know because their behaviors. We know that they're not themselves because they're off their meds. You can tell. So along with counseling, because you need to talk about it. You they always say to be delivered, you got to talk about it. But you have to even just consider having a conversation about what's going on. And you need to start healing. You need to have someone to actually therapeutically tell you what should happen. Pills are not always just the answer, period. You need to figure out what's the underlying cause of what's causing you to have all these issues. If you have anxiety, why? If you have depression, why? Something caused you to go that way. And I mean, like I said, it might be a chemical imbalance, but I deal with anxiety and depression. I don't claim it. I want to be off meds. However, right now, where I'm in my life, I need to be on meds to function, to move forward. Like the things that, like having fireworks, the New Year's, y'all, that would have me so crippled. I would be in here and I would have to take Ativan, put my AirPods in on noise cancellation, and put something in my ear on repeat, because I would be in here crippled, could not move because a state of panic. That is not how life should be for anybody. And I'm going to tell you, anxiety and depression, that's some real demons, y'all. Whoo. Baby. Real demons. So one of the big things that I have learned to do, I'm wrapping it up for you guys. The way I deal with things now is I think about Philippians 4, 8 and 9. It's one of the big things that I go to. And it tells you in the beginning of that chapter, chapter 4, be anxious for nothing, but take everything to God in prayer. Make your petition and write it and give it to him. And he'll bring the peace that passes all understanding. But it goes down a little further, and in verses 8 and 9, it says, so what I want you to do is, while you're doing all this to actually have a peace that passes all understanding, is to focus on these things. What is true? What is noble? What's right? Just what is true for me is facing the reality of, okay, right now my car ain't working, but I do have transportation because I have a loved one that's willing to bring me anywhere I need to go. And I'm gonna take it back one. I failed my class. I dropped my class because I may have not have passed. But truth of the matter is, I can take the class over. Y'all, game changer. I literally have to tell myself, what's true, Key? Like, what's true? I mean, we can go out here and do all this, that, and other, but what is true? What is right? Is it something that we can change? Is it something that we can fix? Yes, we can. And if it's not, then listen, you got to just let go, let God, baby. Some things ain't always for you. You got to just accept what it is and keep it moving. But school is going to be starting in like I said, in a couple weeks, and I'm excited about getting back into taking care of patients and getting back into the clinical setting. And like I said, you know, one of the big things is that if you guys listening to my page, if you're in school, whether it be nursing school or any type of school, trying to start a business, y'all drop me a comment. And if I can help you, hey, I'll drop you a comment back letting you know, hey, this is what you need to think about doing. I don't know everything, but I can most likely tell you this is where you need to go. I'm going to close this out and say, I pray that I help someone. And if it really did help you, y'all, do me a favor. Push that like and share. And subscribe to my page, y'all. Because I got more. I'm a book. I'm like Sophia. Picture it. Sicily, 1955. I'm that chick. There's so many things that I have been through, but I don't look like. So thanks for tuning in today. Like I said, drop a comment, like, share, subscribe. Love you guys.